Jan here, welcome to Foppy Upcycle and Other Sewing Challenges. Today I've got a possible challenge of, I'm going to try and show my friend Sharon, some of you know Sharon, how to make a dress. Also, as you know, as I say, I do upcycling, and we like to try and find either fabric from other sources or reuse other clothing. But we went charity shopping last week, and Sharon found a curtain, which is it's almost like it's heavier duty because it's a curtain, isn't it? But I'm sure that's cotton.
Yes.
I haven't looked at the label, but it's just a white cotton curtain. Yeah. And I think that's going to make, looking at it actually, it might make some trousers, like an easy elasticated trouser we could do.
Yes.
Because it's heavier duty. I never thought of that before. But that's
shorter top as well.
Yeah.
There, won't we?
And there's a top that I've made before that Sharon would like as well. And also, we found this bedding. It's a single, I think it's a quilt, but it's got a really nice sort of weight to it. That's the pattern. I don't know if you can tell there, but it's a white, it's off-white I suppose, with a red squiggly pattern all over it. And there's plenty there to make a dress. So that's what we're going to do today. And this is the dress we're going to have a go at. This one, but we're not putting the layers in because Sharon's doesn't really like, what do you call, flounce, layers, frills. Like she just wants it, the bottom half just straight. So that's sort of what we're going to go with. So I'm going to try and show you what we're up to, and hopefully you can tell this, the hair pulling, the stress, everything, you know, we're going to try and show you everything. So here we go. While I think about it, the pattern I'm using is one I used to make a white top with a peplum. I think I might have shown it to you before. Actually quite a favourite. People have made comments about that top a few times. So let's try and find the picture. This top on the left, I made it in a white linen. So we're going to do the sleeves the same as the top, and the rest, obviously, we're changing as I said, the skirt part of that dress on the right. So, right, Sharon, we're going to lay the pattern pieces out, okay?
Right.
So start with this. You know what this line's for, normally.
Do I?
The line, you know what that one's for if...
Oh, is that for the grain?
Yeah. And if you're following the grain, or making sure it's following the pattern as well. Okay. So make that, it's not really necessary on this because I don't think there is a grain.
No, I never know how to find it.
And the pattern is everywhere.
Yes.
So if we that is the end, isn't it?
This is a fold.
I'm just, you know what I'm like. All right, let's just move this down a little bit.
So we've got the fold.
So we're not wasting material, you know what I'm like?
No, absolutely.
Okay, so we'll do it, you can do it that way, yeah.
Cut one pair.
So pin that on, because you're already folded in half, so you're already cutting two.
Two of those.
Okay,
yeah.
So pin those on.
Make sure you don't get damp up there as well.
I mean, as I say, there is no grain on this, but you know, if you wanted just to make sure they're all straight,
see, I have wasted
make sure.
There.
Yeah, but don't worry because you've got a seam on the end, haven't you? So we want to avoid that. As we know, it's a quilt cover, so we haven't cut all the seams off.
No, so we've just got it folded in half.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you've got enough. I'd always make sure you put pins on the corners because then you know you're going to cut a corner rather than miss it.
Good tip.
Because you've got to make sure your pins are away from the scissors as well. Is that going to avoid the scissors?
Yep. Really is amateur hour when you've got me here.
Well, this is why it's not. Well, it's not. Well, if you are amateur because you've not really made anything, have you?
I
Like
haven't made a lot.
clothes.
Yeah, I haven't made it. Well, look, we did those pyjamas, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing we've done together clothes-wise, haven't we?
Yeah, you've watched me, but not actually made with me.
No. Joan is a very good teacher as well.
This is why I always say I'm not tutoring in my normal videos because I'm always worried that someone's going to say, oh no, I wouldn't do it like that.
Well,
I'm just basically showing how I do it.
Well, exactly. Everybody's individual. And what videos we watch, people are very much, you could do it this way, but I do it this way, aren't they?
Yeah, true. Right, now we've got... Should have a ton of fabric looking at it.
Right.
Now,
dress and top.
I would say...
one on fold.
That's... Right, now I've just realised I've told you wrong, see already. I would say put this at the top because it's got to be on the fold.
Okay. Well, although I've got a fold here as well.
Yeah, but the reason being because we want to make sure we've got enough for the length. Although you could make it a top instead of a dress if we did run out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we won't start with the sleeve. We'll start with the top because it needs to be on the fold.
That's okay. This is how we learn.
No, look, that's a seam. That's not a fold. You don't want the seam. It's got to be a fold.
They're both folds, aren't they?
That's the seam.
That's a seam, not a fold.
Yeah.
This is a fold. Oh,
yeah.
All right. Okay, I get the difference now.
Otherwise, you're going to have a stitch line up the middle of your top.
Place on fold.
Right on the edge.
Know how accurate I am.
This is why, really, anybody viewing is probably saying she hasn't ironed that. Which
She
is why,
hasn't
because
ironed
then
it.
you get that nice crease to go against.
Yes.
So you just have to watch what you're doing.
I had no idea until I went to, well, it was sewing classes, but it was make, do and mend. It wasn't clothes making. How much ironing was involved.
It was funny because I watched someone the other day and they said, a lot of people think, why do we bother to press? Why do we bother to iron it? But it does make a real difference if you do it as you go along. You don't realise until you actually do it.
And it makes your seam so much easier. And, even your stitch lines so much easier.
Well, it's in the right place if it's pressed. It's rather than think it could move afterwards.
Yeah. Even I don't like it when I've watched people making clothes on screwed up bits of fabric.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I mean, it's in some ways because we recycle a lot of the time. It's more needed even more because generally if you've bought it at a charity shop and it's bundled into your bag.
Yes,
and so it does need to be pressed when you get back. Sometimes
it used to be a dress, and now you make it.
If it's fabric, really, it should be washed first, but I very rarely do. I'm a bit of a gambler on that. I'll just hope it's never going to shrink. But if you are a worrier, I'd say wash your fabric first.
I mean, washing machines these days wash on such low temperatures.
Well, that's it. You've got more control over the temperature it's washed on than you used to have.
I mean, if you're washing at 30 degrees, nothing should shrink, really. I've got that in okay. But
right, well, the next bit we've got is this is the back front, so it's going to have a seam. So you could, in effect,
that's better.
If you really wanted to, actually make use of that seam on the top there. You could make use of that, and then you wouldn't even have to stitch the back.
Even better, Jan.
Because you could just press it out.
Like it?
Let me have a look at it on the inside.
Sometimes they're not actually serged that well, are they? They do tend to be
that's been serged and it's quite neat. So I'd say, you could put that against there because because there's no pattern to follow. It's just everywhere. So if we put that that way, this goes against all the rules, but it makes sense what we've got because we want to get as much as we can out of this. So no, it's not going to work like that. Because we don't know if the neck is going to be big enough to not bother putting the loop at the back.
Okay. We find
We'll
that
just
out after.
we'll just bring it away. It doesn't matter. No, we won't.
Okay.
We'll put it there anyway, but we'll just bring it in a bit. Okay. So you need to pin that bit down.
Do I need to leave room for seam allowance, or can I put these up against each other?
No,
Is it
the
seam
seam
allowance?
allowance should already be in it. As far as I remember,
built
it
in.
is. Yeah.
Okay. What have I done with the pinch down? Okay. I was meant to do my linen cupboard this week, but that had got out of control. So I've got towels and things lying around because I haven't done that yet. And I haven't changed my cushion covers. So now I think everything smells of cat. So yeah.
I can't smell cat in here, I have to say.
Thank you.
I didn't realise it myself until I used your little pink heart pins, because they're longer. They make such a difference when you're baking, because you can almost go in twice.
Oh yes,
with your pin, and it holds it down that bit more. So I use my big ones all the time now.
Yeah.
So I did obviously order myself some. The little ones are good for little jobs. Even though I've got the light on, we've still got a bit of shadow here, but it's probably because the front door.
Yes. If you've ever got a free weekend, Jan, you could make me a little thing to cover up that window just for filming.
Yeah, okay.
Desperate to finish that top now. I think I started it about 2 years ago.
Sharon's more of a knitter than a sewer, and she's been knitting like a pullover on a sleeveless. They call it a pullover, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
And she's been knitting it. What do you think? So how long has it taken you? About a year, or is it this one not? You made one before, didn't you? But anyway, it's taken a while.
It's because I abandon it when I get fed up. I've started it 3 times. Once with a different wool. And then I bought some different wool, and it's a dark colour, and I think, why am I knitting in a dark colour again? I hate it. Any
knitters out there probably know what it's like to try and knit with a dark colour, and especially if you've not got a very bright room, it doesn't help matters. And when you're trying to pick up stitches and things, it's a bit difficult. But yeah, so it's taken a while to do this top.
It's because I leave big gaps in between. It's not that I continuously knit and it's taken that long.
Well, picking up the stitches around the neck is one of the hardest bits,
I
think. Yeah, some people are probably expert at it.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? I blame Nanny Rose, because when I was young and I used to knit, when I was like a teenager, probably when I started.
I'm just going to stop you there,
okay.
because in case you run out of pins, I was just thinking you could do one there rather than there.
I'm going to have to go and find the other two.
All right, you're doing some more, okay.
Yes, Nanny Rose taught me to knit, but I used to make up the garment, and then I'd just take all the bits to her, and she would make it up for me.
Yeah.
So I've never...
In some ways, when you're knitting though, sometimes the putting it together can be the bit that makes it look amateur, can't it? That's what I personally think. But then again, it also makes it, you can see it's hand knitted.
Well, this is what my friend Isabel says. She says that things are unique.
Yeah.
They're not mistakes, they're just unique.
Yeah.
Oh, do you hear that?
I can hear pins.
There we go. There's loads of pins in there.
Right, so we've got
There we go.
front and back pinned on.
Have
So
we?
now we just need we have. So now we just need to fit the sleeve in as close as we can. Right, let's just move the fabric.
Every time I do something like this, I come away thinking I should do more of this.
Yeah.
Because it is so satisfying. And I think, especially if you think you're an odd shape, because I'm quite short and wide, I could make stuff that fitted my figure a lot better.
Yeah, rather than making do what you can actually find in the shop. Yeah.
Yes.
I was just saying to Sharon that I watched someone the other day, and she was saying that what she was making she didn't actually need, but she enjoys the process so much that she does it anyway, and that's a bit like me, because I don't always need it. I mean, I've got patterns.
Face, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got patterns and I've got fabric everywhere. And I just, all the time, trying to think, what can I make with it, you know. I've just had to change my clothes every day and put up with the washing. Because I don't mind the ironing. I'm a bit sadistic like that. I do like ironing.
I don't know what's happened with me in ironing. I used to really like it. And now I'm like... But when I get the ironing board out and I start, and I'm watching something on telly, I do enjoy it. There's something about getting it all out.
I think that it's partly that with me, because I always used to listen to music. But now I'll just be watching a box set of something back to back, you know, binge watch. Anyway, back to sewing. So I would, if we can get this up there.
Okay.
Will it fit in that corner? Can you see if it'll fit?
Shall I turn it round?
It doesn't matter whichever way round. You could do it that way round. That would be making a more practical use, wouldn't it? Because it's edge against edge. Does it fit?
We're right on the edge there.
That's it. It fits. Great. Pins.
We've got the second pins.
So now we've got the top, front and back, and the sleeves ready to cut.
And look at that, it's hardly any fabric been used.
Exactly.
And all this is a single
and the two
cover.
We've got the facings to put on.
We have just bought something at the back of Jeff's van as well, haven't we?
Sharon hadn't got any interfacing, so we're not going to probably get to that point today anyway. No. But yes, she hasn't got any interfacing, so we've just stood here, ordered the interfacing off of Amazon, which Sharon calls Jeff's van.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos.
So, as in Jeff Bezos.
It's a comedian whose name has fallen out my head. She's an actress as well.
Oh, is it an English comedian?
Yes.
All right.
And she says she treats it like the back of Jeff's van. She says, and she puts on a voice, she goes, "Come on, what have you got in the back of your van today, Jeff? Oh, I've got this. Oh, sorry, I've got some stuff from China. Have a good look." Yeah. To be honest, that's all it is, isn't it? Oh,
yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Talking of Jeff, I've discovered another podcast. I haven't listened to it yet. I got it advertised to me, and I've got it saved, and it's called Good and Bad Billionaires, and it looks into billionaires like Bezos and who's the one that's Trump's best friend, Elon Musk, and Rihanna. They were looking at Rihanna as well, and decide whether they're good or bad. You know, what they do with their money, how they made their money. So that's, I'm looking.
That must take a bit of research, mustn't it?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Okay, so we've got that. We need to do these little bits.
Yeah. That's the cat food, by the way.
It doesn't shout Marco at the moment.
Right, now for the cutting out.
It's the ends of these scissors that aren't very sharp. I wish we had, I'm sure there is one locally, a scissor cutter.
Scissor sharpener, you mean?
Yes, not a scissor cutter.
Does
it hurt you to watch me?
A little bit. This is an example of, because these aren't Sharon's best scissors. She can't find the good ones. So it's a little bit painful to watch because it obviously takes a bit longer. And we can't use the roller cutter because it's on Sharon's dining table.
Let me go and have one more look.
Right, I'm going to look for better scissors. Sharon's found her scissors.
Not in the right place.
And they were in the kitchen.
I mean, I could blame Max and Julie. It might not have been me.
We've just searched the whole craft room. Couldn't find them, and there they were in the kitchen drawer. And I did say that, didn't I? I said, they're not in the kitchen, are they?
And they're like, no, of course they're not.
As if I'd do that.
If anybody says anything, I know I'm cack-handed. And I don't do things in a logical
way. That is the thing, when there's always a bit with the pattern that you get in an awkward position when you're cutting it.
And I'm sitting down because it was hurt my back. But
the light's changed on here now. It's because the sun's come out at the front.
Yes, it's probably moved around a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Look at my cutting. It's awful.
So that's where a serger's great, because you just tidy it up with that.
Yes.
But
I think I
you could
saw
use your
one
pinking
on
shears as well.
Facebook as well.
Did you?
Recently.
Oh, right.
Shall I do this bit as well, or
Yeah.
shall we leave? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, shan't I? And I thought, I've got no room at the moment, so I didn't. But I think they do come up occasionally. Well, the little one comes up in the shop sometimes.
Yeah, and that's a good price. That's what mine is. So.
Yeah, so I might indulge at some stage.
You've gone a bit.
I have.
I would,
Tidy that bit up a bit.
yeah, it's goodness, only because it makes it that bit much bigger. It's like another ½ inch bigger if you followed that as your finish line, as it were. So do it as close to the pattern as you can get. It's different if you're in your head, you know that you've cut it a bit bigger and to allow for that.
Yes.
It's a little bit there.
Yeah.
Well.
I'm just, yeah. I'm always worried about cutting the pattern as well, because I think, well, you won't be able to use it again.
Well, if it gets snipped, it doesn't matter too much, because you just do a straight line.
Can't do a straight line, Jack.
No, well, I would have to, wouldn't I?
This
if
is
it
my
got
problem.
snipped.
Yeah.
There, so
I really struggle with
sleeve
straight
is
lines.
cut.
I have cut a sleeve.
Now we've got to go in. Just
Right, let's do this bit while I'm here. Is that marker getting up? Do that in a minute.
Yep. Right, let's
do
move
you
the
wanna move it
fabric over.
I do think a lot of cutting is confidence as well.
Yeah.
The more you do it,
Sometimes the first cut's always
the
scary,
first cut is the deep.
because you always think, oh, if I'm doing this right all the time. But in the end, you just think it's only fabric. It's not, you know, it's not the crown jewels.
No.
I mean, especially with us, because we never pay a lot of money for a fabric.
No, that's true.
I mean, this, I don't know if I said at the start, but the fabric, this I think was €4, wasn't it?
€4, yeah.
And my two pieces were €4 as well. Yeah, so you're not wasting much at all, because it's usually more than that a metre, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
If you buy it in a fabric shop. See, that's the thing with...
And we don't mind if we make a mess, really, because we've just wasted €4 at the most.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is that a lot of people can be put off of sewing because it can cost more, and it's the same with anything.
Yeah.
If you make it yourself, it's never going to be as cheap as you could buy it.
Especially with wool, because wool is expensive.
Well, yeah, fabric is if you want to buy it from new. But that's
A
the
lot of
thing, you
people-
know, you've just got to think of it as it's a hobby. In the end of it, you're going to get something to wear.
Yeah.
And depending on what it is, sometimes it can still be cheaper than buying it. But it's that satisfaction of wearing something and someone says they like it and you say,
I made this.
I made this.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, they only like merino wool and things. I'm going to chop that and then come back to it.
Yeah.
But that's the really expensive ones, unfortunately. It's the polyesters, made of plastic, of course.
Yep.
Which is the cheaper wool.
I spoke about that on another video actually, about that it can really grate with me, because watching people do like what's it where they try on, where they've been given clothes, or they've bought a load of clothes and it really just doesn't sit with me very well, because I just think you could be doing that recycling something or something, because like you said, polyester and a lot of these fabrics have got plastic in them.
Oh, they have all got.
Or they're going to end
plastic
up at landfill, you know.
Yeah, yeah, sheen and. What did I read the other day that you may not know Century 21, but they were big in fast fashion in the UK a few years ago.
Century 21?
Yeah,
What, was an estate agent?
it is. Perhaps it's something 21. Anywho,
Yeah, yeah.
but they're closing a lot of their stores and things because people are beginning to move away from fast fashion. You don't have to have something that's just for that season.
No. One thing that is a real, again, another bugbear of mine, but when it all comes to being eco and landfill and all that sort of thing, one thing that really does bug me is we're trying to do recycling, like you recycle a denim jacket, you recycle shirts, and all of a sudden these shops are bringing in something that looks recycled. I mean, that's not the same. That's not the idea of what we're doing. It doesn't make any sense to me. They're just because they don't like the fact that people are moving away and doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Understandably, they're going to lose some money, but it's a bit like a sewing podcast, this, isn't it?
Yes, because we're talking at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't do my dreams.
No.
They're very unlikely to be sewing related.
Well, Duncan and I got married again last night.
Did you? That was nice.
We got married in the Pethricks Chateau.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did. I told you about the ex-boyfriend the other night with the extra arm.
No.
Yeah.
That would be handy for sewing.
Was it grow out of his chest?
Oh.
Or did it grow out of his back and round his chest? Anyway, he still looked lovely. And at one stage he said to me, someone was saying, oh, you two haven't known each other very long. I haven't pinned that particularly well. And he said, I wrote in my diary 20 years ago that I loved her. It's not true, but...
This is an example of why it's better to iron it.
Yes, because it's
that
got,
crease pulled it in a bit.
It has creased a bit, yeah.
But as you're due to today, I could have insisted you iron it, and I didn't.
You could.
So if you wish to blame me, you can.
I will. No, as I say, I always think you're very patient. You and Julie are both very patient teachers. So when Julie teaches you pottery things, she's very patient as well. But I think that's because she used to teach people with learning difficulties.
It's that bit about understanding that you were there once, you were new at it once.
Yes, yeah.
Is that... Oh, too late, it's all right.
What?
Just going to make sure it's flat because it looked like it was bunching up.
Oh, right.
Just before we cut it. Doesn't matter, it's only a tiny bit.
It's bunching up a bit, isn't it?
That's all right.
It's got a little crease in it.
Well, as long as it's not bunching up on the shorter, it's all right. You've still got enough to trim off.
I bet some people are screaming and watching me come out.
Well, they could be doing that, or
Don't
they could
do
be
it like
thinking,
that.
oh, this makes me feel so much better.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm here for.
But I always say that. I always think...
My incompetence is making other people
don't
feel
do as
good.
I do, just do as I say. It's that sort of thing.
Cutting has always been my weakness.
I'll see you something else I've just realised.
I can't go around a curve, Joan.
You only need... Yeah, only one of those, and we've cut it two because it doesn't matter. But because it was folded over,
Yeah.
If it was a big lump of fabric that you wasted, it'd be different, but that's only a little bit.
But it could be, if I bugger one bit up, I've got a spare.
You could have a spare, exactly.
Right, are we moving over a bit?
Yeah, that's just the last, do that bit.
Yeah.
Then maybe we'll pause for lunch
And
then come back to the rest later.
I stick my tongue out as well when I'm cutting. Do you do that?
Yeah, my dad always, it's either sticking my tongue out or moving my bottom lip like that all the time.
I like that.
I tend to go, Yeah, my dad used to do it, so I think that's obviously where I got it from.
I think my dad used to stick his tongue out. Yeah.
Do you know another thing I notice is when I'm sat in a chair and I have my hands in my lap and my hands are positioned exactly how my dad used to.
Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
Can't a bit there.
I find myself saying, stop doing that, just, you're yourself, but there you go.
It just shows is it genetic or... learned
just
behaviour.
learned habits, sort of. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, you'll have to get up and move,
Yeah.
Sharon. It's not going to work. One thing we're cutting out, you do need to get up and move around the table. It's annoying.
Just my back's
And
hurting.
I was going to say, and that's where I end up with a bad back.
Yeah.
Just as Sharon's cutting this last bit, but the final piece at the top, I was just thinking, oh no, I forgot to tell her about cutting out the notches. And for this pattern, there isn't any.
Oh.
I didn't even notice there wasn't any,
Very
so there's no
good.
notches on that one.
Well, is that good?
So I can breathe a sigh of relief that I didn't forget to tell her.
Yeah, I do remember that from school sewing, which I was also very proud of. Perhaps that's where my confidence was knocked.
Possibly, but
At school, we made our own. It's good because we made our own cookery aprons. I wish I'd kept them.
I think we did that, and I forget a couple
our
of
gym
other things.
skirt as well.
Oh, gym skirt, that's good.
And that was lined.
Wow.
Must have taken us forever.
Yeah. Was you taught about darts at school?
Yes, I
Yeah.
was.
So I mean, this is what I always forget. Like, this is a dart that's been cut out, so to a certain extent that's simpler.
Right.
But really, you need to mark where the point is.
Okay.
What Catherine does in Catherine Sews is she puts the pin through, and then she uses her erasable marker to put a dot
Oh, okay.
there,
That's
so that
clever.
when she irons it, it disappears. So, but I don't know about you, but we were taught how to do it with a stitch.
Oh, right. No,
Yeah.
I don't remember
You
that. I
sort
just
of-
remember pinning them.
You went left an end out, then you did like a back stitch and cut out, and then you trim it. It's hard to describe without doing it, but then you trim it between the two layers, and those bits of fabric cotton would mark the end of the dart.
Oh, right. Okay. So shall I go and get a marker?
You've got an erasable one, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we just mark that before we take that pattern off.
I might have to find it.
Right, so I've put a pin in the end of that dart. So if we lift the pattern up, we can just sort of get in there somehow and just make a dot. See if you can do it, Sharon. Let me just push that through. Just turn it over. See where the pin comes through. Just mark that.
So put a dot there.
Have you back? Right, I managed it in the end. So I've done it on the wrong side. I marked where the pin comes through. So now we know where the dart's going to end.
Right.
It doesn't want layers. So we're using the widest tier, and we've measured from underneath, well, that's where the top's going to finish. So we've measured from there to where Sharon wants it, which is on your
Mid-calf,
shin
yeah.
or calf, yeah. So we're just using the lower tier to get the width, and then it just means the upper tier is narrower, but it just means you just have a few more gathers. So yeah, so that's our next thing's just to measure that
And I'm
70
wearing the top.
centimetres. And there's the top there. Just the front anyway.
I can't take it off. Jan's pinned it to me.
Oh, that's true. Right, you need, that's it. So we want 70 centimetres. So we're just going to mark it. It's a very good metre rule. I like that. I haven't got one
Thank
that's
you.
sturdy.
I want to buy you for Christmas. That look right.
That's it. Then get that across.
Does that look
Yep,
straight?
that's about it. Yep.
Okay, so what are we marking it with? Just pins?
Well, we haven't got a pen that's any good, have we? Really?
Really? Got the biro.
I'm saying that you could use the biro. Let me get the biro. Move my camera around the room while I'm doing it.
Seam allowance, won't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I've got chalk.
Is it
Why are we
marking?
using chalk?
Oh, we could do that as well. Just
Yeah.
about see it, as long as you can see it enough to cut it.
I think so.
So if we need a line,
Chalk.
line down there as well. Okay.
Does that look right?
Yep, Sharon's
I'll
found a
mark
chalk,
it.
so we're marking with chalk now, so we can actually see it. Oop. Is it marking? Yep.
Yeah.
Might not see it on camera, but we can see it. And then just
That
mark
little
the
bit.
line down the edge of the size on the paper.
Mark the line where?
So just do that. So you're just gonna come across, as long as that's straight, that's anything. That's where this is good actually.
Okay.
You can, and get that. So you go on that line. Just try and move that up.
That looks straight.
Right, if you let's take the metre rule away. Okay, so we line that up, so just mark that with your chalk and then we'll cut that out. So I keep forgetting I'm holding the camera, in case you're getting giddy.
Yeah.
Right, let's cut that out now.
It's very faint, but I think I'll be alright.
So this is an ideal opportunity if you had a huge mat, you could cut it, use your roller cutter.
Yeah.
Scissors, that's not them, is it? It must be on the
I've
chair.
got several pairs on the go and none of them are the right ones.
Right, cut that and come back in a sec.
Hey, isn't it?
Confident in your sewing already, or just because the scissors are sharper?
Well, probably a combination of the two. The
Yeah.
more cuts you do, the less you worry about
Mm.
it. And the longer the cuts you do.
Definitely better with long cuts.
Oh, I might take a paracetamol.
There we go, we're all cut out. So next video, we'll be putting it together. And if meanwhile Sharon's gone off and done it on her own, I'll show you a picture of it.
I won't do that. It's silly.